Yes, students, very good morning. So, welcome to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. Students, in previous lecture, we are successfully completed cockroach, right? Cockroach nervous system, excretory system, circulatory system, digestive system, and endocrine system, and sense organ, etc. So, today's class, I am going to start the new topic, that is the frog. It is also part of the animal morphology, student. So, frog, let us start the frog today lesson, okay? The external features of frog. So it is also represents the morphology of frog, right? So what is the frog scientific name, student? We already learned in the amphibians only now, the class amphibia. The frog scientific name it is represented as Rana tigrina, right? Rana tigrina. And now you can see here the classification of frog. It is a phylum, it's belong to the chordata, and subphylum indicate the vertebrata, and the superclass indicate the tetrapoda because of hind limbs and forelimbs it is present here, and the class is belong to amphibia, and the genus it represent Rana, and the species represent Tigrina. So student, this is a very important for the classification, the taxonomic classification of the frog. It's very important. Phylum, subphylum, superclass, class, genus, and species. So please remember this one now. I hope you understand about this information, right? Let us start the introduction about the frog, right? So let us see this. Rana tigrina is the most common species of the frog. So right now we can observe in the Indian species, okay, Indian species of the frog, okay, it is a most common. Rana tigrina is the most common. No? Another most common species of the toad, okay, it is called as the Bufo melanostrictus. Bufo melanostrictus. Bufo melanostrictus, it is a very important species, is another common species of the toad, and the common species of the frog it is that Rana tigrina. So these two things you need to remember, student. And let us discuss about the toad here though. The toad have the poisonous gland in the skin. So they secrete this, they are in the, generally the toad having there is a moisture content, more moisture content we can observe now. This toad is actually secrete the more, having the more poisonous glands are appears. So this poisonous gland secrete a poison. Generally this we can observe in the green colored frog you can see now. So but it is absent in the normal frog. What it is absent now? The poisonous gland it is absent in the frog. Right, student? The toad having only the poisonous gland, whereas the Rana tigrina don't have any the poisonous gland. This is about the differences between the Rana tigrina and Bufo species. Next, let us talk about the frog. The frog do not have the constant body temperature. That's why we call it as what is that? The cold-blooded animal or poikilotherms animal. So why it is not constant the body temperature? There is given here the body temperature varies with the temperature of the surroundings or environment. That's why, for example, the body temperature for suppose a frog is to be like something at 20 degrees C, and that environment is to be different. No? So environment and body temperature cannot be constant. No? So that's it varies, always varies. That's why it is a cold-blooded animal or poikilotherms animal. So what about the aves and mammals, student? Aves and mammals are what are that? Warm-blooded animal, right? Next, another feature about the frog, they have a ability to change the color. That means the camouflage, right? Camouflage. You can see the word is given, the beautiful word, that is a camouflage. Why it is that some of the frogs it shows the camouflage property. If any enemies are surrounding are there, no, it can change the color of what the green color or any color respect to the surrounding color. It can be changed easily. So they have a ability to change the color of their body to hide from their enemies. So this protective coloration is called mimicry. This is a very important point, student. What is the mimicry now? So the protective coloration in accordance to the the surroundings is there now. For example, white color is there now. The body is also resembles the white color. White is happening because of to protect the enemies. This property is called camouflage property. This is a very important point, student. Next, another one is that we also know the frogs not seen in the during winter. Why? Because of this period is to be take the shelter in the deep burrows. Why? Because of to protect them from the extreme heat and as well as cold. That's why it shows the properties of aestivation, that is called the summer sleep, and hibernation is called the winter sleep. So all the amphibians shows that there are two type of property, that is aestivation and hibernation, to protect their extreme heat and cold. So student, this is about the introduction about what are that is that common frog it is that. Let us discuss about the another information. So let us here, what is the length of the frog you can observe now. So now we can see the frog in the sitting position. I'm diagram it as a representation here now. So here the length would be, it is that is a 18 to 20 centimeters, and the width is around the 5 to 8 centimeters. What is the color of the frog? So for suppose you can see this part is represents the dorsal and the bottom part is represent is ventral now. We are talking about the dorsal coloration now. So the color of the frog, the dorsal part is olive green color, whereas that means this part, right student? Whereas the ventral part is a uniformly pale yellow color. That means the bottom part is represent ventral part. So what is that? The dorsal is olive green, ventral is that uniformly pale yellow color now, right? And now we can see the body of the frog, it is adapted for burrowing, jumping and swimming. So this is about the properties performed by the frog now. Burrowing, okay, it is deep into the soil, and another one is jumping and swimming. This is another feature about that. The frog never drinks water. This is another important property student, but absorbs it, the water content is absorbs it from their through skin. Okay, the body of the frog is divided into the two parts, that is a head part and a trunk part. There is a neck and tail is absent here. So student, what you understand here now, the majority of the water it is absorbed from through skin only. They never drink the water now. So here the body is to be divided into the two parts now. What are they? This is a head part and the remaining part is called the trunk part now. Right student? Let us see the diagrammatic diagram of the frog here. Okay, you can carefully observe there is a diagram of the frog. So here you can see this first of all we'll discuss about the forelimbs, and also we have also having the hind limbs. Forelimbs, actually what is that? There is a, first of all it is a upper arm is there no, and followed by forearm. The forearm, the terminal part is having the hand. The hand is actually it is differentiated into digits. So actually it is called the digit student. So actually it is what the 4 digits are there now. We are already seen the amphibian property, the frog having the 4 digits. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 digits is there now. So this is about the what that forelimbs. Let us discuss about the here the hind limbs. Hind limbs, actually it is having the thigh and a shank. Shank is actually it is a cutaneous, there is a more muscular part it is that, and the shank is followed by ankle. Ankle is followed by instep. Instep is the ends to the digits. This is about the what is that hind limb. Hind limb is also having the how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 digits are there now. Here in between this part what we call now, the gap between the digits we called as what is that? Webs. Webs is actually designing for the swimming, right? The webs is actually it is requiring for the swimming. So students, this is about the hind limbs, and let us see this in this one is that the dorsal part of the frog, there is having the dermal plices and the skin spots is there no, and this is called the trunk, and there is a line is called as what is that? Vertebral line, and in the one side of this one is having the eye. There is a eye, it is a center we can represent that is that brown spot, and this is a head part. And now before the eye there is a external nares is there no, mouth is present, tympanic membrane, and this is a tympanic membrane. So this is the parts of the frog student. Okay, so let us discuss about the each and every part of frog now. Okay, so first of all we'll discuss about the head part now. You can see head. So head is actually it is a triangular in part. It is an anterior conical part is called the snout, right? So what I'm saying, this one is that you can see this is a triangular part, right? If you observe this one is the frog no, it is this part anterior conical part, this part what we call no, this part I'm talking about, it is called the snout, right? And here the head is having the structure, that is a mouth, one pair of nostril and one pair of eye. So you have the same time one pair of the tympanic membrane, one pair of the vocal sac, one pair of one at mid dorsal region, that is called the brown spot. For suppose you can see, assume this is about the frog, right? So here this is exactly exactly it is that this is a ventral midline. This part what is called the Brown's part. It is called the Brown's part. It is located between the two eyes, right? So eyes is actually having the three eyelids, student. What are they? The first one is that upper eyelid, another one is the lower eyelid, and the third one is called the nictitating membrane. This is also called the, there are three eyelid now. So here what is that, there are all our eyelid is responsible for the protective in nature now. Now you can see here upper eyelid is a more immobile, okay, now cannot be movable, this cannot be movable, whereas lower eyelid is a movable, so only this part only it is a movement is occurs, whereas the third eyelid it is a very thin and a transparent, it is a freely movable, that is called as nictitating membrane, right student? So what I'm saying it is that we are talking about the head, it is a triangular part, anterior conical part what we call the snot, and in the head region we can represent the mouth is present, nostril one pair, eye is one pair, tympanic membrane is one pair, vocal sac is actually one pair, Brown's part is actually only one. It is where it is occurs here mid dorsal region, that means it is located between the two eyes only. So eyes actually having the three eyelids. This is the structure of the one eye I am representing here. So eye of the frog showing the different eyelids. So the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid and a nictitating membrane. So this upper eyelid cannot be movable, lower eyelid is only movable, and whereas freely movable, the third eye membrane is called the, that is called nictitating membrane. Hope you understand student, and also having the discovered by pupil and iris also we can observe. So student, this is I'm going to tell explaining about the eye only now. Let us see the nictitating membrane importance. So next another one is that nictitating membrane, this one, see student, this one is called the nictitating membrane, okay. So the third eyelid is called as the nictitating membrane, alright student, right. Next we'll discuss about the another part is called the, that is a Brown's part, okay. It is a very small, okay, circular and light colored spot located in the mid dorsal side in between the that two eyes only. So it represents the vestigial third eye or pineal eye. That vestigial third eye means it is that it is a not function. The function of this one is the brown spot is not known. So what is that? You can see the diagram again once again. Diagram of a frog you can see once again. So what where it is the brown spot is there, no? You can see. This is a brown spot, right? Exactly, it is a present here now, okay. This is a one eye and another eye is also present on the other side. This one is called the brown spot. The function of this one is that not known, it is that it is a circular part only, right student? So the next one is, the next one you can see the tympanic membrane, right? Next one is the tympanic membrane or eardrum, right? It is a very small and circular membranes. It is a folds located just behind the each of eye now. For suppose you can see this is about the frog head, you can see, right? So this is a eye now, and there a pair of nostril is there now, and exactly located below the eye. This one is called the tympanic membrane. It is also called as, what is that? Eardrum. And it is receives the sound waves, so it is related with the hearing only. So this one, what is the function? It is that hearing process. Whereas the vocal sac, generally what is that? There is a in the what the sound it can produce now. Okay, so this one is that you can see it is a pair of the blob. Okay, it is a pair of what is the blob? It is an elastic structure in the throat of the male frog. So generally it is act as a resonator. That what is the meaning of resonators means? It is increase the pitch of the croaking of the male frog. So at the time of the breeding season, it is used to attract the female. So vocal sac is actually it is performed by the male only because of it is act as a resonator, and it is a male having the male frog having the high pitch of the cracking of the male. For example, we are already seen the what is the frog sound which it is. What is the frog? Why it is giving the sound is to be generated because of at the time of the breeding season, mostly the rainy season you can see. Rainy is having the more breeding season only. So it is that used to attract the female, right? So this is about the remarkable property in case of the male frog. It is that it is producing the a sound to attract the female. Next, the other one is that we'll discuss about there is a trunk we'll discuss now. Now we are completed, the head part is completed now. Now longitudinal folds are represented on the dorsal part of the trunk, that is called the dermal fold or dermal placy. So we're already seen what is that. For example, you can see this is about the frog now. This is about the frog, and there is a midline is there now, right? So there is a dermal spots we can observe on the frog surface. In the what is that? In the dermal side is that there is a spots is there now. That spots we call it as what the dermal folds or dermal places. The frog is actually tetrapod, student, and the four limbs are attached to its trunk. So where are what is that four limbs? What is that four limbs and hind limbs are attached to the what is that? This is a four limbs and hind limbs is attached to the in the dermal part now. Let us see the forelimb, student. First of all, it is also called that anterior limb, and there are two forelimbs are attached to its trunk. Each forelimbs is made up of three parts. What are they? Now you can see this part is represent the hand of the frog during the breeding season, A part, right? And distal part of the showing the digits and the web, right? This is about the hind limbs, student. We'll discuss later. Let us see this one is the forelimb is actually made up of the three parts. Upper arm, it is also called as the brachium. For example, you can see this part, okay, and this part, and there is a digits are there now. So this part what we call now, that is brachium. This is also called as the upper arm, right, student? Upper arm. I will show the diagram also. And the lower arm, this one is called the lower arm. Lower arm. And other one is that this is called the hand. And this hand is differentiated into digits. Digits, right, student? Now you can see it is called hand is also called the menis. Menis is having the 4 digits. The thummus is absent in it. So let us see what is the diagram part of this forelimb. I'll show that forelimb. You can see, student, I'm talking about the forelimb now, right? You can see the diagram now. The first part, this one is called the upper arm, and followed by this part what we call now the forearm. The forearm is having this is called the hand. Hand is differentiated into this part is called it is differentiated into 4 digits. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, right, student? So this is about the forelimb, student, right? Next, the next one is that you can see in the male frog, the ventral side of the first index finger is having the nuptial or copulatory or amplexary pad. So there is a very, very important point for the NEET point of view, student. This point is very, very important for what that in the male frog only. We are concentrating about male frog only. There is a finger, the first finger had the nuptial or copulatory or amplexary pad. What is the importance about this amplexary pad? It is become enlarged during the breeding season, and this pad helps the male frog to grip the female during amplexus or copulation. So now you can see this one we're talking about the A part, student. So here this is during breeding season, during the sexual intercourse of the female and as well as the male frog. Now what will happen now, the male frog having actually the first index finger, it is more enlarged is there now, more enlarged. This pad is to be more enlarged. This pad is called as what is that? Amplexary pad, also called as what is that? Copulatory pad. So they will ask one question. How they are asking the question? No, I will explain. So there is a pad is found in the frog. That pad is responsible for the responsible for the copulation. What is the name of the pad? So the pad name it is that amplexary pad or copulatory pad. Another question is also they will ask student, amplexary pad or copulatory pad, it is found in male or female? The answer is only male only, not it is absent in female, right, student? So here during copulation, that is actually the female is down and the another one is that male is to be above is there now. So it is helps in the what is that? Copulation process, right, student? This is a very important point, student. Now this is a diagrammatic representation of the palms, the pads it is that, right? The next other one is, we're talking about the hind limbs. Hind limbs is also one pair to the each limb is to be divided into the two parts. Likewise, what is that? Four limbs only. Upper limb, upper part and middle part and clavicle aperture. So upper part we discussed now first of all. It is a thigh or femur part now, right? And the middle part, it is actually the shank or crus, and distal part is of foot is called as pes. Pes is actually 5 toes or but no nails is to be present, because of here the exoskeleton is to be absent. And in between the toes and the skin folds are present in this called the webs. It is requiring for swimming. I told you already, web is requiring for the swimming only. These three parts of the hind limbs folded into the jed appearance. You can see, student, like this is the jed appearance. It is that. What is that? First one is that upper part. This one, no, right? This is the upper part, and the other one is this one is called the middle part, right, student? Middle part, and the other one is that there is a thigh is there, no, right? Foot, this one. So there is a the hind limb is actually appear as a jet part only. So helps in the jumping of movement and act as a shock absorber. This point is a very, very important. No, the middle part only is responsible for the shock absorber, right, student? The another part you can see clavicle aperture. It is a common outlets of the feces, urine and sex cells, that is called the sperm and ova. So the sperm and ova, urine, feces, all things is to be forms from the clavicle aperture. It is found at ventral part only, ventral region only, right, student? Now you can see the diagram part once again of to represent the hind limb. Just a minute. Now you can see, student, we're talking about the, here is that hind limbs, right? You can see hind limbs is actually, see, you can see the thigh and the shank. It is a, and this one is called the ankle, and this one is the instep, and instep is differentiated into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in between this we have a webs, right? Ankle and instep is we collectively known as the foot, and from thigh to foot we call it the hind limb, right, student? Now this is about the external morphology of what is that frog, student. Let us we discuss about the another important points. Next, another important information, student. What is the internal morphology of the frog? Generally we can represent the what is that there are respiratory system we are talking about. The respiratory system is actually differentiated into the there are three respiration we can observe, that is cutaneous respiration, pulmonary respiration, buccal cavity or oral cavity respiration only. So here first of all we'll discuss about the cutaneous respiration. The percentage is very important, student. 35% of the cutaneous respiration is occurs in the frog. So generally the cutaneous respiration it is occurs in the skin. The skin is actually containing the mucus gland, right? The mucus gland is a secrete the mucus on the surface, and it is a moist the skin only. It is a causes this mucus only responsible for the exchange of gases from the atmosphere by the process of a simple diffusion, right, student? So this is about the cutaneous respiration. It is occurs 35%. Majority it is occurs through skin, and it is skin is having the more numerous mucus gland is there. No, that mucus gland secrete the mucus, and that mucus is responsible for exchange of gases. And whereas the pulmonary respiration, this is a very important. No, the in frog majority of the respiration is high majority it is, that is a 56% of respiration is belong to pulmonary respiration, right? It is a pulmonary respiration. It is a present in the what is that pear shaped lungs, student. A pear shaped lungs is responsible for pulmonary. It is the anterior part of the trunk only. It is responsible for the pulmonary respiration. Next, very least respiration, that is that 9%, that is oral cavity respiration. It is a very large network of capillaries is appears in the oral cavity. It is responsible for the exchange of gases through diffusion. So finally what you understand here now, the cutaneous respiration, pulmonary respiration, and buccal cavity respiration or oral cavity respiration, all the respiration is to be followed with the help of a simple diffusion. What you know about the diffusion, student? the passage of the gases from the region of the higher concentration to the lower concentration, that is called the diffusion, right? So I hope you understand about the definition about the diffusion only. So this is about the today's class, student. So what we learned today's class, right? So just again, once again, recall about the today's class. What is the scientific name of the frog? It is Rana tigrina, and you're already seen the phylum, subphylum, and superclass, class, genus, and species, right? So the next, the other one is what you learn about another importance. It is the Rana tigrina is the most common species. Another most common species of the toad is represent bufo, and the bufo is actually having the poisonous glands in the skin, but it is absent in the frog. And generally it is represent, the frogs are represent cold-blooded animal. Why the cold-blooded animal? That is already mentioned here, and it is a shows the remarkable property that is called the camouflage, and it is a change their color in accordance to the enemies, right? That is a protective coloration is called the mimicry, and it is also known for the frog is not seen in the shows the what is that aestivation and hibernation, that is a summer sleep and winter sleep properties also exhibited in frog. And length would be, it is a 18 to 20 centimeter, 5 to 8 centimeters represents the width. And the color is actually what is that here is that olive green color, whereas the ventral part is represent pale yellow color, and it is responsible for the burrowing, jumping, and swimming. Generally the jumping is done by with the help of hind limbs, right, student? And swimming is it is responsible with the help of webs, right, student? So generally here we have two parts we discuss, no, head part and a trunk part, right? Head part is actually what is that here, no, this is about the mouth is present, nostril is present, one pair, eye is also one pair, tympanic membrane is also one pair, right? Tympanic membrane is responsible for hearing property, whereas the vocal sac is actually one pair. Generally high pitch of vocal cords we can observe in the male, it is attracting to the female for the copulation. And another one is that bronze part is there, no, at one it is present at the dorsal region between the two eyes. And eyes is actually there are three lids is happens now. What are they? Upper lip cannot be movable, lower lid can be movable. Nictitating membrane is a very transparent and thin, it is also movable. It is having the pupil and iris. So this is about the structure of eye also we discussed, right, student? Next, another one is also discussed, what is that? Bronze part, tympanic membrane, vocal sac, right? So this is a very important points, no? Next, the other also we discuss, what is that, like forelimbs we discuss, no, it is differentiated into upper arm, lower arm, hand. This is property is very important, no. The male forelimb, the first finger is called as amplexary pad. It is responsible for the copulation, right, student? This is a very important point, student. Definitely they will ask neat point of view, right? Next, other way also can see the upper limb, the hind limb, right? Hind limb is also three parts, no, upper part and middle part and cloacal aperture, right, student? So this is about, and finally we discussed about what is that, that is that is a respiration also we discussed. So student, this is about the today's class. If you have any doubts you can please raise your doubts here. Any doubts you have? Very good morning, Jayashri. Any doubts you have remaining? Today's class you have any doubts? Okay, I'll ask one question. Please answer here, no? Right? Please respond, student. Yes, Jayashri. Only Jayashri remaining. Yashashvi, Anushka, Chinmay, Bhavya. Okay, I'll ask one question here. Okay. Yes, very good, Chinmay. Good. Okay. So I'll ask one question. Please answer it. What name the pads found in the male frog which is responsible for the copulation? Name the pads in male frog which is responsible for the copulation, during copulation. What are the name of the pads? I'll show you, you can answer it. Yes, please. What is the pads? Yes, what is the pads here? Yes, the correct answer is this one.